I remember that night vividly. It was cold, the kind of cold that seeps into your bones and makes you feel like you'll never be warm again. I was huddled under a thin blanket in the corner of a grimy alleyway, the city lights casting eerie shadows on the walls. The sounds of distant laughter and clinking glasses from nearby restaurants felt like a cruel reminder of a life I could only dream of. My stomach growled, but the hunger was a familiar ache by now. As I lay there, shivering, I thought about how I had ended up here. It wasn't supposed to be like this. I had dreams, big dreams, but life had a way of throwing curveballs. My parents had lost their jobs, and things went downhill fast. We lost our home, and before I knew it, I was on the streets alone. But that night, something changed. A fire ignited within me. I decided that I wouldn't let my circumstances define me. I would fight, claw my way out of this darkness, and make something of myself. Little did I know, that decision would set me on a path that would change my life forever. The next morning, I woke up with a renewed sense of determination. I had heard about a local library that opened early and decided to spend my days there. It was warm, and most importantly, it was a place where I could immerse myself in books and escape my reality, even if just for a few hours. As I walked through the library doors for the first time, the smell of old books and the quiet hum of pages turning was comforting. I found a corner near the back and started reading anything I could get my hands on. Fiction, nonfiction, it didn't matter. Each book was a window into another world, and I was hungry to learn. One day, while flipping through a thick textbook on biology, I overheard a conversation between two librarians about college applications. My ears perked up. College had always been a dream, a distant, impossible dream, but hearing them talk about it made it seem just a bit more tangible. I started to notice a man who came to the library regularly. He was always buried in books, scribbling notes furiously. His name was Mr. Johnson, and he was a retired teacher who volunteered at the library. One day, curiosity got the better of me, and I approached him. "Excuse me, sir," I said hesitantly. "Could you help me understand this?" Mr. Johnson looked up from his book, surprised. He saw the tattered clothes and the tired eyes but didn't judge. Instead, he smiled warmly. "Of course, young man. What are you studying?" From that day on, Mr. Johnson became my mentor. He taught me everything from math to science, and even how to write a compelling essay. He saw potential in me that I had forgotten I had. With his guidance, my confidence grew, and so did my dreams. One afternoon, as we were packing up, Mr. Johnson handed me a brochure for Harvard University. I laughed out loud. "Harvard? That's impossible. Look at me." He didn't laugh. He looked me straight in the eyes and said, "Nothing is impossible if you work hard and believe in yourself. You have the potential. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise." That night, under the flickering streetlight, I made a decision. I would apply to Harvard. It seemed like an outrageous dream, but for the first time in a long while, I felt a spark of hope. The application process was daunting. There were so many forms to fill out, essays to write, and documents to gather. But with Mr. Johnson's help, I tackled each task one by one. I wrote about my life, my struggles, and my dreams. I poured my heart into those essays, hoping that someone on the other side would see my potential. Once the applications were sent off, all I could do was wait. Each day felt like an eternity. I spent my time at the library, studying, reading, and dreaming about what life could be like if I got accepted. One cold, rainy afternoon, I returned to my usual spot at the library. Mr. Johnson was waiting for me, a large envelope in his hands. My heart raced as I took it from him. It was from Harvard. With trembling hands, I tore it open and read the first line. "Congratulations." I couldn't believe it. I had done it. I had been accepted to Harvard University. Tears streamed down my face as I hugged Mr. Johnson, who was beaming with pride. Getting accepted was just the beginning. There were still so many obstacles to overcome. I needed to find a way to pay for tuition, find a place to live, and get the basic necessities. But for the first time, I felt like I had a fighting chance. Word of my acceptance spread quickly, and soon the community rallied around me. Donations poured in, people offered their support, and I realized that I wasn't alone in this journey. I had a village behind me, cheering me on. The first day at Harvard was surreal. Walking through the gates, I felt like I was in a dream. The campus was beautiful, the students bustling around, full of energy and ambition. I felt out of place, but I reminded myself that I had earned this. I belonged here. Making friends was difficult at first. I felt like an outsider, but I soon found a group of like-minded individuals who were passionate about learning and making a difference in the world. They became my support system, my family away from home. Despite the support, there were still many challenges. Balancing studies, part-time jobs, and finding time to rest was tough. But I remembered the cold nights on the streets and used that memory as motivation to keep pushing forward. One of the most important lessons I learned at Harvard was finding my passion. I discovered a love for social work and advocacy. I wanted to help others who were in the same situation I once was. This newfound purpose gave my studies a deeper meaning. I hadn't spoken to my family in a long time. One day, I mustered the courage to call home. Hearing my mother's voice brought tears to my eyes. We talked for hours, and I promised them that I would make them proud. During my time at Harvard, I started a program to help homeless youth gain access to education. It was my way of giving back and making sure that others had the same opportunities that I had been given. Graduation day was a whirlwind of emotions. As I walked across the stage to receive my diploma, I couldn't help but think of all the people who had helped me along the way. My journey was a testament to the power of resilience, community, and the belief that anything is possible. Looking back on my journey, I realized that every challenge, every setback, and every cold night had shaped me into the person I am today. My story was not just about getting into Harvard. It was about the journey, the lessons learned, and the people who believed in me. With my diploma in hand, I set out to make a difference in the world. I knew that there would be more challenges ahead, but I also knew that I had the strength and determination to overcome them. My journey from homeless to Harvard was just the beginning. I started sharing my story, hoping to inspire others to believe in themselves and their dreams. I wanted to show that no matter how dire the circumstances, there is always hope. As I embarked on this new chapter of my life, I carried with me the lessons, the memories, and the people who had been part of my journey. I was ready to face whatever the future held, knowing that I had the resilience and the support to succeed. My goal was to build a legacy that would inspire future generations. I wanted to create opportunities for those who had none, to give a voice to the voiceless, and to make a lasting impact on the world. Through my work, I emphasized the power of education. It was education that had lifted me out of poverty and given me a chance at a better life. I wanted to ensure that everyone had access to this life-changing opportunity. Even after Harvard, life continued to throw challenges my way. But each obstacle was a reminder of how far I had come and how much I had overcome. I faced adversity with courage and determination. I became a beacon of hope for many. My story resonated with people from all walks of life. They saw in me the possibility of a better future, and that inspired me to keep pushing forward. I traveled the world, sharing my story and learning from others. Each experience broadened my horizons and deepened my understanding of the struggles people faced. I was more determined than ever to make a. During my travels, I met many young people who reminded me of myself. I began to mentor them, sharing my experiences and guiding them on their own journeys. Watching them grow and succeed became one of my greatest joys. Life has a way of throwing unexpected challenges our way, and I was no exception. A severe illness brought me to my knees, testing my resilience once again. But I faced it with the same determination that had gotten me off the streets and into Harvard. My community rallied around me during my illness. Friends, colleagues, and even strangers offered their support. It was a humbling reminder that I was never truly alone in my journey. Chapter 29. Recovery and Reflection. As I recovered, I had time to reflect on my journey. I realized how far I had come and how many people I had inspired along the way. It strengthened my resolve to continue my work and to live a life of purpose. One of the most rewarding moments was reuniting with my family. We had all been through so much, and it was a testament to our strength and love that we could come together again. We supported each other and healed the wounds of the past. With a renewed sense of purpose, I threw myself into advocacy work. I fought for policies that would help homeless youth and ensure they had access to education and opportunities. My voice grew louder, and I became a prominent figure in the movement. Inspired by the impact I was making, I decided to start my own organization. We provided resources, mentorship, and support for homeless youth, helping them navigate their way to a brighter future. It was my way of giving back and creating lasting change. I formed collaborations and partnerships with other organizations and individuals who shared my vision. Together, we created a network of support that reached far and wide, making a real difference in the lives of countless young people. Throughout my journey, I never stopped learning and growing. I pursued further education, attended workshops and conferences, and constantly sought ways to improve myself and my work. Personal growth became a lifelong commitment. I used my platform to amplify the voices of those who couldn't be heard. I shared their stories, advocated for their rights, and fought for justice. Being a voice for the voiceless became one of my most important roles. Despite my accomplishments, I sometimes struggled with imposter syndrome. But I reminded myself of my journey, my resilience, and the impact I was making. I embraced my strengths and continued to push forward, knowing that I was deserving of my success. My work began to have a global impact. I was invited to speak at international conferences, collaborate with organizations worldwide, and share my story with a global audience. The message of hope and resilience resonated everywhere. Recognition and awards came my way, but they were never the goal. They were a testament to the hard work and dedication of everyone involved in the journey. I accepted them with gratitude and used them as motivation to keep pushing forward. I dedicated myself to inspiring the next generation of leaders and changemakers. I spoke at schools, mentored young activists, and provided scholarships to deserving students. Watching them rise and succeed was the greatest reward. As I looked back on my journey, I felt an overwhelming sense of gratitude. Gratitude for the challenges that had shaped me, for the people who had believed in me, and for the opportunity to make a difference. I knew that my story was just one of many, and I was committed to continuing the fight for a better world. With every success, new challenges arose. The fight for social justice and equal opportunities was ongoing, and I remained at the forefront, advocating for those in need and pushing for systemic change. I discovered the power of storytelling in creating change. I shared my journey through books, documentaries, and public speaking, inspiring others to take action and make a difference in their own communities. I learned the strength that comes from diversity. By embracing different perspectives and backgrounds, we could create more inclusive and effective solutions to the problems we faced. What started as a personal journey had grown into a global movement. People from all over the world joined forces to fight for justice, equality, and opportunity. Together, we were unstoppable. One of my greatest joys was watching the next generation of leaders emerge. Young people who had faced incredible challenges were now leading the charge, bringing fresh ideas and energy to the movement. The fight for a better world never ends. I remained committed to the cause, knowing that there was still so much work to be done. With every step forward, I felt more determined to continue making a difference. The journey required personal sacrifices. Time away from family, long hours, and the emotional toll of the work were all part of the price. But the impact made it all worth it. We celebrated every milestone, no matter how small. Each victory was a step closer to the world we envisioned, and we took time to acknowledge and appreciate the progress we had made. The journey was a lifelong learning experience. I continued to educate myself, adapt to new challenges, and find innovative solutions. Lifelong learning became a core value. Throughout it all, the power of community was evident. Together, we could achieve what seemed impossible. The support, collaboration, and love from the community were the driving forces behind our success. As we continued to grow, new horizons opened up. We expanded our reach, developed new programs, and found innovative ways to support those in need. The possibilities were endless. The work we did left a legacy of hope. Future generations would benefit from the programs, policies, and changes we fought for. The impact of our efforts would be felt for years to come. Despite the success, it was important to stay grounded. Remembering where I came from and the struggles I faced kept me humble and focused on the mission. Doubt and fear were constant companions, but they never stopped me. I learned to embrace uncertainty and use it as fuel to keep moving forward. Empowering others became a central focus. By giving people the tools and support they needed, we created a ripple effect of positive change that spread far and wide. Faith played a significant role in my journey. Believing in something greater than myself gave me strength, hope, and the courage to keep going. We built a global network of like-minded individuals and organizations. Together, we shared resources, ideas, and support, creating a powerful force for change. Setbacks were inevitable, but they were never the end. Each one was an opportunity to learn, grow, and come back stronger. Celebrating diversity became a core value. By embracing different cultures, perspectives, and experiences, we created a richer, more inclusive movement. Taking care of myself was crucial. The work was demanding, and maintaining physical, mental, and emotional health was essential to sustaining the fight. Technology played a significant role in our success. It connected us with a global audience, amplified our message, and provided innovative solutions to the challenges we faced. We honored the past by remembering those who came before us and paved the way. Their sacrifices and struggles were the foundation of our success. Change was a constant in our journey. Embracing it allowed us to adapt, innovate, and continue making progress despite the challenges. Finding joy in the journey was essential. Celebrating small victories, appreciating the present moment, and finding fulfillment in the work made the journey worthwhile. Building bridges between different communities, organizations, and individuals created a stronger, more united movement. Collaboration was key to our success. Resilience was at the heart of our journey. The ability to bounce back from setbacks, stay focused on the mission, and keep pushing forward defined our success. We had a vision for the future, a world where everyone had equal opportunities, where justice prevailed, and where hope was a reality for all. That vision guided our work. Personal reflections allowed me to appreciate the journey, learn from the experiences, and stay connected to my purpose. Education remained a cornerstone of our work. It was the key to unlocking potential, breaking the cycle of poverty, and creating lasting change. The community was our greatest strength. Together, we celebrated our successes, supported each other through challenges, and created a brighter future. The journey brought lifelong friendships. The bonds formed through shared struggles and successes were unbreakable and provided a source of strength and support. Challenges were opportunities in disguise. Embracing them allowed us to grow, innovate, and create solutions that made a real impact. Dreams were the driving force behind our journey. They gave us direction, purpose, and the motivation to keep pushing forward. Adversity was a constant companion, but we learned to overcome it. Each challenge was a stepping stone to greater success. Our work had a global impact. The ripple effects of our efforts reached far and wide, creating positive change in communities around the world. Advocacy was crucial to our success. Using our voices to speak out, raise awareness, and fight for change made a real difference. Celebrating success was essential. It reminded us of how far we had come, motivated us to keep going, and provided moments of joy and fulfillment. The journey was far from over. There were still many challenges to face, battles to fight, and changes to make. But with each step, we grew stronger and more determined. Leaving a legacy was the ultimate goal. We wanted to create lasting change that would benefit future generations and ensure that our work continued long after we were gone. As we looked to the future, we saw a new beginning. The journey from homeless to Harvard was just the start. With resilience, determination, and the support of a global community, we were ready to face whatever came next, knowing that together, we could achieve anything.